David, thanks for your time today. Now that we've come to the end of phase 1 of the program, I'd like to take this opportunity to just document some of your thoughts on the program's progress to date. So I've got a few questions here. First up, perhaps you could start off by just giving us your first impressions of what we tried to do and how it was received by the staff and students.
First impressions, obviously when you came to us with the proposal, we were quite excited. Any opportunity where we get to do something new and we get to integrate technology into our curriculum and into our programs, it's certainly the way of the future, and we're very excited about that. First impressions of the actual testing, initially, both from staff and students, it was very good. But due to, obviously the word tests, some students became quite apprehensive the more you did it, and because they weren't really getting the data back from it initially, they were sort of going, oh, this is a little bit too repetitive, we're over this, it's not fun anymore, do we have to do this? So straight away that probably put a bit of a red flag up for us and sort of said, maybe we need to look at this and alter it slightly to make it more appealing to the students so we get a bit more intrinsic motivation in their efforts.
Cool. So, leading on from that, you've commented in the past that students are motivated by different things than we're probably used to seeing with athletes. And you come up with some great ideas for improving motivation and the uptake by the students. Could you outline for us how these changes have helped to improve the quality of the testing and the enjoyment by the students?
As I said previously, initially we started out just by doing the testing, but the word test with students doesn't normally go very well. So I sat down with Andrew, who's been working in conjunction with us, and I sort of said, okay, well, let's try a different approach. Let's say the grade 8s that I've got, we're doing a touch unit next. So these are the sub-unit skills that we're going to do. This is where the actual unit needs to go to. This is what the students need to actually be able to perform at the end of the unit. Now, how can we use what I would normally do as drills and skills, and how can we put the gates in there so that they're just an added extra, not actually part of it, and we can sort of, as you put it, covertly hide the testing within it. And we've seemed to have had good success with that at the moment.
During the initial phase of the program, we're focused on just those 2 sessions per week only with Andrea. But have you had any other opportunities to sort of use the equipment, and could you see your staff using the equipment more regularly in the future?
I had an opportunity to use the equipment specifically for the purpose of touch football. We run a development program here for touch football and also in volleyball. And for touch football, I've used the gates to identify students who possibly may not realise that they could be quite good touch footballers, just by using the gates, getting a little bit of data on them and saying to them, this is a sensational 20-metre time, and your acceleration for 5 and 10 metres is just exactly what we need for touch football. How about you come along and have a go? I've been able to get 14 students from grade 8.
So following on from that, could you give us maybe a few examples of how you think that the data that we collect in testing on students could be used actually in the curriculum?
With us, we've set out with this initial project with the grade 8s. However, my grade 11 PED, they've just finished a touch football unit with Focus Area B, which is your biological basis, so your physiology, that sort of stuff. And one of the aspects of that piece of assessment was that they had to design a training program that would allow them to improve their positional play in a game of touch football. So I used the gates for both the Vemavel test, which is the VO2 test, and also the 20-metre test with 5 and 10 metre increments to say, okay, well, this is your acceleration, this is your speed, this is what your oxygen use efficiency is. Then they've used that data in their appendices to actually justify their position and their need to do certain aspects within their training program. So in that sense there, it's been quite beneficial for my senior students, and they've welcomed the data. With the grade 8s, the reason why we initially chose the grade 8s was they actually do a Fit for Life unit where they actually look at their health-related risks, their health-related fitness components, and the data that we've got from the testing has sort of helped them I guess, appreciate where they are at the moment. But in future, if we were to do it into a more modularised or more unit-based activity where we use the gates, we'd actually look at doing it as a pre, mid and end testing rather than just every 2 sessions a week, every week sort of thing. And by doing that, it would actually allow the students to get some data to see whether their training program is working for them, so if they're improving in their fitness, and that would then in turn hopefully create some intrinsic motivation. But more importantly, at the end it would allow them to say, okay, well, I started here, I finished here, I've improved. Okay, what was it in my training program that I did that works well for me, and they can evaluate the effectiveness of what they as an individual need to do to improve their fitness. So that's where we sort of would be heading with that in future, with the grade 8 specifically.
Awesome, that's really good. Okay, I know you're busy, so perhaps we could just conclude by giving us, I guess, your staff's general opinion about the experience so far, and your collective feelings about its potential for the future.
Overall, the staff have been extremely receptive to the actual technology. Frequency of usage is probably one of the biggest issues that we've faced as a staff. It's like any sort of technology. The more you use it, the more comfortable you become with it, and the more, I guess, you recognise what you can do with the equipment. As I said, frequency is probably the biggest thing. So time, as with all teachers, having the time to be able to explore it. So at the moment, the staff or the administration here hasn't really given us any sort of professional development days, but they would if we asked for it. So that's probably something that we need to do in the future to really maximise the benefits of this technology, and I know that the administration here is certainly supportive of that. The potential in the future is really unlimited. Like, I believe myself, and having used the equipment probably more frequently than the other staff, creativity is probably the biggest thing. Understanding what you need to do in your lessons with your students and where they actually need to go, and then being a little bit more creative, or I guess abstracting your thoughts. How can I best use what I want to do and fit it in with the technology to get this outcome? So yeah, and it's been really good having Andrea there, because she's more like a sounding board. So this is what I normally would do, this is why I do it. Is there some sort of program at the moment that you have in your technology that we can sort of manipulate a little bit to get the results? And yeah, we're having great success with that. So I think you're only limited by your imagination in the end.
Good news, excellent. Well, David, thanks again for your time today, and really thanks to all your staff, you and all your staff, for your collaboration and enthusiasm so far. We're really excited about the program. We really look forward to continuing our work at the school to improve the experience for all your staff and of course your students. So thanks again, and we'll keep going.
My pleasure.
All right, excellent.